people, welcome to my channel. My name is Georgia for those of you who are new, and to my regular subscribers, welcome back. So we are talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode 5, titled Ladies Who Lunch. So we are picking up where we left off in Episode 4, where Mary has a luncheon, and the theme is the Met Gala, and she invited all the ladies to the luncheon. She didn't want to invite Jen, but she invited her anyway. She gave them all personalized gift, and one of the gift was a Louis Vuitton earbuds. So okay, we were at the table last week where the ladies were asked to share something about themselves where the other ladies didn't know about them. And before they started speaking, Mary told the ladies, okay, when someone is speaking, do not interrupt. But as it so happened, now it's Jen's turn. Jen shares something about herself, and she apologized to Meredith about the way she behaved at the Roaring Twenties party. And in the confessional, you hear Mary say, "So where's my apology for the name that you call me?" That's in the confessional. She didn't say it to Jen. So Jen continues to talk to Meredith at the table, and at one point Mary interrupts. Remember, she's the one who says nobody should interrupt when they're talking. So Mary interrupts her and tells her that because Jen says, I usually don't talk to people that way, the way she talked to Meredith. And she said, but I disagree. She said, the way you talk to people, nobody would talk to them that way. So of course Mary and Jen got into a little tiff back and forth with it. Heather tries to interject, and Mary also got on Heather, telling Heather, you got two faces. So of course Heather backed off right now. And then Whitney tries to interject, and again Mary try to tell Whitney, be quiet, you too young. And of course in the confessional, she didn't say that at the table. I realize that almost all the ladies are afraid of Mary. I don't know why, but they're all afraid of her. And Jen. And I think Jen and Mary are similar in personalities. I don't know why they're not friends. They're constantly clashing. So so at one point Mary tells Jen, you could leave. No, she didn't say you could leave. She's like, bye, bye. So Jen gets up and she leaves the restaurant. And I guess in Utah, that restaurant is a well-known restaurant with a certain class. So at one point Mary also says, you're upsetting whatever the owner's name is, or the head chef, or whoever he was. I'm not familiar with the restaurant. And Jen said, well, I know him too, and I know everybody, because Mary likes to do a lot of name dropping. I see she likes to wear a lot of labels. Like, she used to put all her wealth and the fact that she knows so many people in your face. That's what I'm getting from what I'm seeing. So I digress. So Jen gets up and she leaves the restaurant. Heather follows her, talks her into coming back in. They smooth things over for a little while, and then they started clashing again. So at this point, Jen was like, I can't. I tried. I came back in. I tried. I can't with Mary. When Jen leaves, Mary asks Heather, who was sitting next to Jen, she's like, give me back her AirPods. Give me back her gift. And Heather just rolls her eyes. She's like, I can't believe this. So, okay, the luncheon ended. The ladies tried. They tried to smooth things over with Mary and Jen, but it was not happening. Because Mary wants her apology for the way Jen spoke to her, and Jen is not giving it to her. All right. So now, again, referring to my notes, I'm still learning a lot about the people. Then we have Heather at home. The luncheon is over. Everybody goes back to their lives. Heather is at home with her girls, and we see where one of her daughters, her boyfriend, comes over, and we learn a little bit more about the Mormon community, where she tells us that when a girl is dating a guy, she's not allowed to go to more than one dance with the guy, because if they go to more than one, then the girl will start to like the guy, and then they'll become intimate and so on and so forth, and stuff will happen before marriage. So usually they don't let their daughters date. They let them date multiple guys, but only once. Which, I mean, how do you get to know a person and know that this is a person you want to be with for the rest of your life if you only date them once? All right. Then Heather tells the girl that she's gonna come in late that night, and I'm guessing this is Saturday. She tells them that she's gonna come in late that night, and she must let them know now if they want to go to church. So and she'll only get up if they want to go to church. So the girls are like, no, it's okay, you could sleep in. We haven't been to church in a while anyway, and I feel that at this point, if we go, people are gonna look at you and look at us, and I'm like, where have you been? You know, why aren't you coming and stuff like that. So because they don't want to be judged, they're like, you know, we could skip another week, no big deal. And as the youngest daughter says, the way those people behave in church towards you and how they behave outside of church is totally different. So they're kind of hypocritical, and they're sinners. Just to let you know, even though that's the Latter-day Saints denomination, that goes on in every denomination. Okay, I don't know her daughter's name, but that goes on in every denomination. That's not just with the Mormon community. All right, so yeah, they go on and about their way and they do their thing. Then we have Lisa picks up no, not Lisa, Meredith picks up her husband Seth at the airport. So now we get to find out a little bit more about why they're separated. See, this episode was more interesting than the last one. So come to find out that the type of business Seth is in, um it he has to travel a lot to, like she says, chase the deals. So she tells us that in the past 2 years or so, they've moved about 4 times. And she likes Utah, and she wants to put down her roots in Utah, which she already has, because she has her designer or jewelry design business, and she has her store, and she has her clientele. And Seth wants her to pick up everyone and her business and move to Ohio. And at this point, Meredith is like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm happy where I am. The kids are grown up. We have the kids in college, and my business is doing well, and I am not willing to move to Ohio. So of course her husband tries to talk her a little bit into it, and she just didn't want to hear it anymore. They were in a cab ride going home, and she just didn't want to hear it anymore. So she kind of shut it down. She's like, forget I asked anything, forget about it all, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. So that was in the car ride home with Seth and Meredith. Now we have Mary at home with her husband, telling him about the luncheon, and they did like a back and forth between Mary talking to her husband and Jen calling her husband Sharif and giving him the update about what happened at the party. Because remember, Jen said her husband leave early in the morning and comes home late, so the time that she gets to FaceTime him is during the day. So Mary tells her husband that Jen is constantly attacking her, and she doesn't know why. And she thinks it's because she's kind of jealous of her. But then we go into finding Jen talking to Sharif about the statements that Mary has said to her regarding black people. Like at the table, she brought up and said that Mary said if she's driving, she needs to go to a convenience store or a 7-Eleven, and she sees black people outside of it, she won't go in. She will go to another 7-Eleven. And that upset Jen, as it should, and it does upset me as well. And I don't understand why Mary would make a statement like that, because Mary is black, her husband is black, she has a black son, and of course her entire family is black. So for her to make a statement like that, as if she doesn't want to intermingle with black people, it's hurtful. And it's hurtful to Jen, because as Jen says, that could be her son, her 2 sons that's being discriminated against, and her husband. She said, my entire family is black, and for Mary to make a statement like that, it's hurtful and it upsets me. And Sharif, in his motivational speaking way, as he does, and he put a spin on it, and he tells her, listen, you do have black people out there who are prejudiced against other black people, which is true, and they don't want to intermingle with them. So he tries to make Jen feel a little bit better about it, but I understand Jen's feeling about it, because it upset me too, the way that And apparently she did say it because she didn't deny it when Jen brought it up at the table. How the hell you gonna say you're not gonna go into a 7-Eleven, black people standing there? You already have other races that are discriminating against us, and for you to discriminate against your own kind, what the hell is wrong with you, lady? So that scene right there left me a little upset a bit, as Jen should be. I mean, Jen could still apologize to Mary for the things she said to her about her being a I'm not gonna repeat it. If you guys are watching the show, you know what it is. But at the same time, Mary needs to apologize to Jen for saying the things that she said to her. Because she said, I'm not apologizing. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean, so I'm not apologizing. So there they go. Again, same personalities, butting heads. All right, we'll leave it at that. So Sharif calms Jen down a little bit, and Mary's husband asks Mary if he needs to send a bodyguard with her when he meet up with the ladies. Really? Why? Oh, all right. Now we have Whitney meeting. We're meeting Whitney, one of Whitney's siblings, for the first time. Her brother Will, and she goes in to explain her family dynamics a little bit better. So this is her stepbrother we're meeting. As you watch the show, you will, if you watch the show, then you know what I'm talking. I'm not going to go into detail about it. So they're meeting and they're doing jiu-jitsu, and Whitney is very strong. She flips her brother, and he's at least 2 times bigger than her. So she's able to pick him up and flip him. And to his point, he's like, I need to get you in here 7 days a week because you're really good at this. All right, they're going to talk about Whitney's father and the fact that he is taking more responsibility as far as his rehab is going. Over the years, they've been the one to push him into rehab to, become sober. But at this time, it's a father who is taking the initiative to go into sober living. He's the one paying for it and everything. So they feel that at this time, he's going to do a lot better. And she tells him, like, I'm not going to force you guys to support him, but just support me supporting him. So that was a nice little conversation back and forth. So like I said, we're still learning more about the families and, the family dynamic. So now we have just a quick clip of Lisa's son's party. I believe he's turning 8. I don't remember how old he is, but we have a quick clip of him at his little birthday party, and she takes her husband to the side and tells him about Meredith and Seth being separated. And to Lisa's point, marriage is hard work. She's like, for anybody who's doing it, it's hard work. There's times when you and I, she's talking to her husband, you and I get into it. I've taken your Rolex and thrown it out the car window. And at that point, I'm like, what? Girl, you crazy? And of course, I had the same question like the producer asked. It's like, so did you go back and get it? And that's what I wanted to know. So yeah, he said he went back and found it. It took hours for him to find it because it was covered in snow. But he found his Rolex. Girl, throw my Rolex out the window, something that I've worked so hard to achieve. When I do get one, if I do get one, throw my Rolex out the window. Are you crazy? Oh my gosh. But to Lisa's point, she's like, it's marriage is something you have to work at times. You have to communicate with your partner and make sure that you guys are constantly communicating, because if not, then you would grow apart. So that was it. I found that after she said throw the Rolex out the window, I don't think I heard anything else about that scene right there. But marriage is hard. Now we have Whitney and her dad driving to sober living, and they had a nice little conversation in the car. And to Whitney's dad, he said to her, I appreciate you staying by me while I'm trying to go through this. And Whitney told him, I feel good about this because, like I said before, you're the one initiating everything, so I think you have a more vested interest in getting better or getting sober, and I think we're gonna see. So we get to follow them through that journey. And it seems like her father has been going back and forth with alcoholism for over 10 years, and this is the time when he's really ready to embrace his recovery and work at it harder than he has before. So that was a scene between Whitney and her dad. Now we have Meredith and Seth at home. And Seth is leaving. It's been 2 weeks since she picked him up at the airport. And to her point, she says, we need some space. So he's like, I'm already leaving. She said, well, I think we need even more space. So he's like, well, you won't be seeing me for a while. And, she's like, I don't disagree. That was a hard scene to watch because Seth broke down crying, telling Meredith that he does not want a separation. They've been married for 25 years. He doesn't want a separation. And all she said to him, I do love you, but we need some time apart, longer than we've been doing. So that was a hard scene to watch. And he left. So I don't know if we're going to see him for the rest of the season because he's gone. Then we have the last scene. We have Mary and Heather meeting up for lunch. One thing that Mary told Heather as they were having lunch is that she knows that marrying her step grandfather is weird. She felt weird about it when when the will that her grandmother left stated that she wanted it to do, and because of that it took her 2 years to actually go through with the marriage. And she knows that people look at her weird because she did it, but she prayed about it, she said. And she thought about it for 2 long years until she felt comfortable doing it, and that's why she went through. And now that she has went through, she feel that the Lord has blessed her in a lot of ways, and she feels okay about it now. So at one point, Heather asked her to clarify some things as far as he's not your blood relative. Well, she said it to Mary. She's like, see, he's not your blood relative, so it doesn't matter. But then when Heather went in the confessional, she's like, I kind of understand what she's going through, but if it had to happen in my family, I wouldn't be able to do it, or something to that effect, Heather said. But they had a good luncheon. At one point, Mary thought Heather came in order to help her to mend things with Jen. And to Heather's point, she's like, no, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to just be a friend to you and to just talk to you and stuff like that. And Mary was like, yeah, I appreciate that and stuff. So that was the episode. I didn't jot down too many notes. So that was the episode for today. Like I said, it was a little bit more interesting than episode 4. We got to know a little bit more about people. We get to visit Heather at home. We get to see Whitney's dad actually check himself into sober living, and we get to meet another one of Whitney's family members. And the only sad thing is that Seth and Meredith are growing further apart. And I like Seth, so I would really wish I would see him, because I think he's funny. In the first few episodes, I found him to be funny, so I thought I'd be able to see more of him, but apparently not. So that's that. So that is my review of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 1, episode 5, titled Ladies Who Lunch. So let's see what happened in episode 6 as far as Jen and Mary talking to each other again. Let's see if that happens, and then we move on and see what else is happening in the ladies' lives. Thank you for watching my review. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you wish, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and your family. Bye-bye.